What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. As you guys can see from the title, this is going to be a big video. I want to get straight into it, but before I do, I just want to give a little quick intro. 2023 has been such a big year for girl groups, guys, on this channel. If you're new here, I just focus primarily on girl groups. They've just always been near and dear to my heart. I'm just gonna go into my favorites of the month, what came out during that month, and just like how it compares to older groups' discographies and stuff like that. I do want to mention these are all my opinions, and just because I think this way does not mean that it will be the same thing for you. It does not mean that it's right. It does not mean that it's wrong. It's just my opinion, and I would love, as I say in every single one of my videos and all of my reactions from this year, last year, whatever, I would love to know what you guys think as well. And let me know what months, what songs, what time, what seasons, what stuck out to you this year, because this was a lot and we have a lot to talk about. Okay guys, let's get into it, starting off with January 1st. Just so you guys know, by the way, I have my book of like notes and everything on here that I am just going through just because I really wanted to prepare and just have all my thoughts organized. January, New Jeans started off the year with Oh My God. They just released Ditto in 2022, which was already perfect. It's already deemed itself as one of the best winter songs and just one of the most nostalgic, just perfect, right? So when Oh My God came out, that engulfed January. It was one of the most refreshing, bright, brand new types of songs that people have not heard, and it was just so poppy, it was so fun. And New Jeans really started off January great. Not K-pop related 100%, but XG released Shooting Star and Left Right, huge ones off the year. It got me into them. Mascara and Tippy Toes was one thing, but that was really my intro to XG as a whole, and I love them, especially Left Right. High Key came out with Rose Blossom, an amazing title, really blew them up in popularity. Dream Trip is my favorite B-side from that album. If you guys have heard it, go and check it out, it's so good. Maeve came out with Pandora, that was alright. Signature with Aurora, which was promising just because they hadn't come back in a really long time. Got the Beat with Stamp on it. I honestly really liked it. At first I was like, but it grew on me a lot. Alter Ego, my favorite B-side from that album still. Yena released Love War, great title, loved everything on that album. It was a pretty solid one from her as well. To wrap up January, VV's came up with Pull Up. And it wasn't my strongest title for them. I personally don't like it that much. I think their other titles are perfect, but the B-sides specifically so special. Love or Die and Vanilla Sugar Killer. Even in my reactions in that video to the album, I was obsessed. February, guys. So in February, there was a lot, but also not a lot going on. In February, of course, the two biggest hits, Teddy Bear from Stacy and Cupid from 50/50 came out, and as you guys know, those songs just instantly blew up. It was already feeling like this year was already starting off so strong, right? Brave Girls, before turning into BB Girls, released Goodbye, their final track. Limelight released Honestly, Blank Noir, and Crystal. I think there might have been some other songs as well. Actually, no, I think it was just those three. But I think that those songs left a really big impression on people, and they gained a lot of fans from this. Purple Kiss released Sweet Juice, which I thought was a really great track. It was one of my favorite titles from them. And the Cabin Fever mini wasn't the best, but it was pretty good. I'll get into the other album that came out in September soon. Two more groups I want to mention. Tribe released We Are Young, WAY, the album and the title track, and they have a B-side on there called Wonderland. Guys, it has new group perfection. Like, when I tell you that this song has been on my mind the whole year, I still listen to it today. And finally, on the 13th of February, but wrapping up the month, Triple S debuted as OT10 with the Assemble album with Rising as the title track. Honestly, guys, Rising, please check it out if you haven't. Best thing, this was the start of Triple S dominating the year, right? This was the start of them, their first release in this year, and boom, instantly blew everyone out of the water. Beam, Rising, Choal, New Look, Colorful, The Baddest, Before the Rise. Everything about the album is absolutely perfection to me. Perfection, and they dominated. That February was Triple S's month. March now, guys. The first half of the year was very slow, to be honest. Not that many releases, but in March we got Cherry Bullet that released Pow to the World, whatever that song is called. The only song I like from that album is Whistle Like That, which was amazing. Twice released their Ready to Be album and Set Me Free as the title track, which, to be honest, was my favorite song on the album. Set Me Free is my favorite song on the album. I think that this was one of their weakest albums. I'll be completely honest. It was a very disappointing month for them. Pixie released Karma, and Mix released Love Like This, which was a very strong title track and comeback from them. After everything else that has been released this year from them, it's my weakest / least favorite release, just because I thought that Roller Coaster and Sonyar are so much better to me. Party O'Clock. Even Party O'Clock, honestly, I think Love Me Like This was a little overrated for me. I just thought it was a little too simple and repetitive and dragged out longer than it should have at some parts. The album, I'll be honest, it didn't really appeal to me. Jisoo released Flower. I think that Flower was also overrated. I can say that now after it's all gone. I don't really like it as a song. I never did. All Eyes on Me, her B-side, 8 Flower Up. All Eyes on Me, 8 Flower Up, easily. Also, NMIX released Young Dumb Stupid. I didn't like that at all, I'm sorry. Yuju released her O album. Favorite tracks from the album are Dreaming, Full Circle, and Peach Blossom. Such a really unique album, and I thought that it was one of the soloist albums from this year that was a little underappreciated, but it's okay. She's still making it up there. Not girl group related, but Kai released Rover. I actually thought that was pretty fun for a while. I've released Kitsch. Really strong and really fun for me in the beginning. Kepler released I Do You, which I don't know. I think that Kepler has just been all over the place this year. We'll get into the Korean minis, but I Do You was just alright to me. CSR released their second mini album, Shining Bright, as a title track, and I thought that was great. I cannot wait to get a CSR comeback because I feel like we need more of them. Last but not least, the best thing from this month, March, easily. I honestly, it was just my favorite release of the month in general. Billy with Noya. Billy with The Village of Perception Chapter 3, their 4th mini album. Easily the best thing of March and easily one of the best albums of this year. Noya was such a good title track. It was so amazing. It was so fun. It was so out of this world. It really reminded me of Ginga Minga Yo. My favorite track. And the BGM of this part is Various and Precious. I love that song with everything. I think it was one of my most played songs of this year. It's just so out of this world. It's so perfect. And then all of the B-sides, Enchanted Night, perfect. Lionheart, really good. Nevertheless, one of their best, if not top B-sides. And Extraordinary, also so good. This is my favorite album by Billy, by the way, guys. Such a perfect album. This album and the Collected Soul and Unconscious Chapter 1, aka Ginga Minga Yo, that whole album, my favorites. Okay guys, so April, let's get into it. New Jeans released Zero. Honestly, a song that fits perfectly into their discography. It's so them, and it's honestly a great song. Dream Note came back with Lemonade, which was really wanted by so many fans. Daya's Jeon released Easy Breezy. Soojung from Lovelyz also released her full album, The Archive of Emotions. I think that my favorite song from there was a track called Daydreaming. Yeon released Cherry Coke. Alice released Showdown. I mean, it was just a lot of releases from a lot of soloists and just lesser known girl groups. One of the best tracks from April is BB's I Am Shampoo. Oh my god, I love that song. It's so good. It's just a commercial song, I believe, but it was still so amazing, and I was like, what the hell? I cannot believe that this is just... I can't believe that this is not an official song. Oh My Girl released their fan song Miracle, I believe for their 7th anniversary, I might be wrong. Love that song. Honestly, it's my favorite song from the album that they had that came out in August. A-Pink released D&D and the Self album. Said it in every single thing. Candy, my favorite track from that album, so good. Not girl group related, but NCT Dojaejung released Perfume, which was one of their best tracks as NCT. Like, I'm not an citizen to the point where like I keep up with everything at all, but I just listen to everything that they release, and I loved Perfume. I also really loved Kiss and Strawberry Sundae, the 2 B-sides from that album. Oh my god. And the 2 highlights of April, my 2 favorite things of April, of course, with their first full album, I Am being the title track. My favorite B-sides, because you know there was a lot of good stuff. My favorite B-sides to this day that I still listen to all the time are Lips and Mine, those 2. But my favorite B-sides in general are also Hypnosis, Blue Blood, and Next Page. I know for sure that I definitely said that Hypnosis and Next Page were my super favorites in my original reaction. And then I think that this was probably my favorite release of the month, I'll be honest. Kepler released Giddy, but it's the Love Struck album. That Love Struck album and the B-sides in it really sold me. Lovely, Why, Happy Ending, those three. I know a lot of people died for Back to the City, and I'm happy for you, and I'm glad that you love it. It was those three though that sold me personally. May was the start of probably like the full album showdown. I know I started it in April, but in May we had La Seraphim with Unforgiven. My least favorite title track. I thought that the album was not good. I'll be so real, like now after listening to everything, and you know, it was just disappointing compared to Fearless and to the Anti-Fragile album. I love those two. However, I will say that besides Unforgiven, I loved Eve's Psyche and Bluebeard's Wife. I still do. I think that the challenges and the remixes and everything kind of like got overwhelming. So overwhelming to some point, but you know, it was still an amazing song. It still is an amazing song. After time has passed now, I listen to it knowing that the challenges aren't like swarming me everywhere, and I'm like, yeah, this was really good. I also thought that No Return and Flash Forward were also great B-sides in their discography to add to. Secret Number released Doha, Doxa, I don't know how it was pronounced. Card released Icky, nice title track from them. Twice released Hare Hare, which I think was a great title track from them, but it kind of came and went, you know what I mean? Like, it was just too simple. Catch a Wave, the B-side on that album, that was also great. In Queendom Puzzle, Charismatic by the Drop the Beat unit. I love that song. It was honestly one of my favorite songs for a couple of weeks. I just could not stop listening to it. I thought it was the best song from that show. Black Swan released Karma, great track, and just a staple for them. And then the three highlights from this month specifically was one, Dreamcatcher's Bon Voyage, one of my favorite titles from them. Like, so many groups this year have just beaten their old titles or just, you know, have made something to compete with them, and I love Bon Voyage so much. I also thought that the B-side Damien was a really good one on there as well. Triple S's Crystallize unit came out. It was finally released after so long, after people expecting it probably since 2022, like fall of 2022. Crystallize was released, and I thought that Cherry Talk was okay. It's not my favorite title from them, and you guys will, if you guys know me, you know that I love everything Triple S related, so Cherry Talk, me saying that is just like, it's a little sad, but it was alright. Deja Vu and Hide and Seek, those two B-sides made the album for me, especially Deja Vu. And then finally, aespa released their My World mini album, Spicy as the title track. Spicy was such a, oh, what an amazing track, right? And it came at the perfect time too, right? Like right at the start of the summer, end of spring, perfect. B-side wise, Thirsty and Salty and Sweet, my favorite ones. I'm Unhappy was also really great. Welcome to My World was nice, but you know, Thirsty and Salty and Sweet. Okay guys, June was super short. Honestly, this is gonna not even be longer than a minute. We had Taeyong's solo debut, Shalala. I didn't like it. Yena, Hate Rodrigo. Oh my god, what a crazy messy period. I felt so bad for her, but honestly, it was just, we'll just pretend like it didn't happen. It was just a alright song, right? Wicked Love though from her, that was a great song. Lapillus released Who's Next? Next. Shiny released Hard. It was an okay title to me, but it was Identity, 10X, and Juice that were the B-sides that stuck out to me the most. And then the highlight of June, easily, and the end of this section is Promise Nine's Me Now, Unlock My World first full album. Easily the best release of that month, one of the best releases of this year. My favorite tracks, I'm literally spitting it out to you guys. Attitude, What I Want, I Don't Care, and Prom Night. Those four are my favorites. Well, with Me Now too, so we'll say 5. I do want to say something though. I think that as a first full album, it's an amazing album. Hashtag Me Now is an amazing title track. I love it so much. Attitude is just like it's like the creme de la creme of the album, right? But I will say I don't think it's their best album. I don't think it's their best album. I think that there might be more songs, sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the better album, but it is still one of the best albums that they have for sure. July was a huge month. Getting into the summer now, let's get into it. I'm going to go through them quick. Zero Base One debuted. I thought that I didn't like it. Queen's Eye released Unnormal, which is so underrated. Go and check it out if you haven't. I think it's just a nice song. EXO released Cream Soda, but there was 3 songs from the album that I liked, which was Private Party, Cinderella, and specifically Love Fool. Misamo released not K-pop, J-pop, but they released the Masterpiece album. I'm not gonna lie, kind of underwhelming. Besides the title track, I thought that the B-sides were underwhelming. Like, don't get me wrong, Do Not Touch was a great title, great, beautiful MV, amazing everything, but it was the album that just kind of lacked for me. LE SSERAFIM released Jewelry, which was a nice song with Imase. ITZY released Kill My Doubt with Cake. I didn't like it. I never liked Cake. I don't know, I feel like almost like it's not even true at all, but with my critiques of ITZY's music on my channel, it's pretty harsh because I just don't think that they've been given the right stuff. Notice how I'm saying given, because JYP knows that they can give and they can find the quality that they need to for their artists, but honestly, Kill Shot is the only thing from that album that was just like, whoa. I think Psychic Lover was alright, but it was Kill Shot that, like, one of the best ITZY tracks and should have been the title track. Sistar's Soyu released her mini album. Oh My Girl released another mini album with Summer Comes as their title track. I thought it was a great summer track, but I'm not really listening to it too much outside of the summer. In Queendom, Puzzle Over Water track that was performed as well. I thought that was a really good track. IVE released I Want. Jungkook released 7. Idol released I Do. And anyways, the highlights of July, my favorites of July. Easily, first of all, Odd Eye Circle, after 6 years, made their first comeback with the Version Up album. Air Force One is the title track. Brought me to tears. Still shakes me up. One of the best releases of this year, easily. All of the B-sides. Je ne sais quoi, my favorite track of that freaking album and one of my favorite Luna songs. Je ne sais quoi, Lucid, Love Me Like, My Secret Playlist, even the intro, Did You Wait. Just so good to have them back as the first Luna release. So super, super, super monumental and just a highlight of the year for sure. And Mix released Roller Coaster, probably my favorite track from them in general. Such a good, perfect song, and just so bouncy and housey and just perfect. And last but not least, Kiss of Life made their debut with Shh, which is one of the best debuts ever. And then Sugarcoat. I could mention all of the other tracks or the solos, but Sugarcoat is easily one of the best songs in K-pop. And I don't know what to say. 10 years from now, it's still gonna be perfect. Let me just say that. We're almost done, guys. August, 8th month. So August was a pretty huge month as well. Jo Yuri released Taxi, but I thought that the tracks on the album, Bitter Taste and Hang On, were like perfect. Also thought that Lemon Black Tea was like a pretty nice soft song. aespa released Better Things. Nice for the summer, really. It's like one of those other songs that works for the summer, but I don't see myself listening to outside of the summer. Signature released Smooth Sailing. Promising because no one knew if they were going to come back after the beginning of the year, but Mess With My Mind was a nice B-side from that album. Smooth Sailing is one of their best title tracks, if not the best. If you guys do not know, there's this soloist, her name is Giselle, with a J, and she came out with a song called Steamy Hot. I love that song. I love it so much. Check it out if you haven't. It's a very bright, bubbly, kind of like groovy, almost like R&B-ish in some points. It's just so good. Please check that out. And then easily the highlight of August for me, Triple S Lovelution debut. This is their first like unit debut as a fixed unit, because I don't think that Lovelution or Evolution are going away, if I remember correctly from everything that I've heard. I mean, everything was just so perfect. Girls Capitalism, just the brightest, happiest, most positive. The messages just being so enlightening. Just such a perfect song, such a great title track, honestly. Complexity is my song of the year, if not one of my songs of the year. There are very few songs that give off an aura like Complexity, and I don't know, there's just something about Complexity that will never fail me. It's perfect. Soul Sonyo sound, absolutely perfect. Just such a... It almost makes me want to cry. That song makes me want to cry from how dreamy it is, right? Black Soul Dress, perfect. I can't believe that in the beginning I was like about it. It was just felt like it was kind of all over the place, but it easily grew on me and has continued to grow on me, and it's just perfect to me now. Speed Love as well, perfect. I think that my least favorites were number 8 and Crybaby, but then again, this album was just so good. There was just so much. It's like not everything can be absolutely perfect. September now, guys. September also a really huge month. Not as many releases, but the quality of the releases is what's important. So Sejong released her first full album, Door. My favorite song from that album is Jenga. It just gave off this like country vibe. I'm not a country listener, but I just really like the vibe from it. Kara's Youngji made her solo debut with Love. I thought that it was alright. It wasn't anything crazy. L's Up made their debut from Queendom Puzzle finally finishing. Cheeky was such a nice debut title track, honestly. Die For You and Cloud9. Amazing tracks. Key released The Good and Great extended play. I thought that the best tracks from there were Intoxicating and Mirror Mirror, specifically Mirror Mirror. Billy released BYOB. Honestly, I think that the song would not be as enjoyable as it is if it didn't have that theatrical part that it has at the beginning and at the end. I think it really just makes the song feel so light and warm. It's such a great track. Black Swan released Cat and Mouse, the English version, which was also big for them. Icheon released Let's Dance. I thought it was kind of forgettable, to be honest. I think everyone didn't really care too much about it. Purple Kiss released Seventh Heaven, their title track, which was a great title track, but honestly, the B-sides Biscuit and Mistake, oh, so good. Especially Mistake. Mistake was perfect to me. Rocket Punch released Boom. Give Me Your Heart was a B-side from there that I really liked. Yuju released Da La La, which was very nice, especially after Yerin just released something that was like retro city pop related. I really liked that she also did something like that as well, literally the month right after. And then my favorites from this month. XG released Puppet Show. Oh my god, their best track to me, my favorite XG track. I didn't think that Left, Right, and Shooting Star would be beat that easily, but Puppet Show was just on another level. Perfect MV, choreo, everything. Kepler, Galileo, not my favorite title track, same with Giddy, but the B-sides, Kepler's B-sides are so good. The Door and Love Unlocked specifically, those two were perfect to me. Tape was also really nice as well. And then the best thing that was to happen in September, Lusemble making their debut with Sensitive, and the whole album, oh my god, Utopia. I don't know how many times I've talked about that song this year. Utopia by Lusemble is the best thing that could have ever been made in this world. Real World, Coloring, Day by Day, Strawberry Soda. I mean, perfect. Odd Eye Circle's album was perfect. This was perfect. Like, what more could we want? Q, Heejin Shu, so October now, guys. Just like September, just like so many months of this year, it was another perfect month. So to go through it quick, in October, Jennie released You and Me. Honestly, kind of underwhelming after it officially came out to me. I don't know, thought it was just underwhelming. It's really Jisoo's All Eyes on Me that just like devoured this year for me. Jinny made her solo debut. I thought that Come On was a great track and the other songs were all good too. Lightsum released Honey or Spice. Honestly, it grew on me because at first I was like, but Honey or Spice is a great title track from them as well. Wheaton released her In the Mood album. The only song from there that I truly loved was 17 by her and Hwasa. ITZY released Ringo. Such a good title track, one of their best Japanese title tracks, if not their best Japanese title tracks. I wish they made more songs with that like intensity and just sound like Ringo. G-Idol released their full English EP with I Want That, which was really good to me. Not crazy, but it was just pretty good. However, the B-side Eyes Roll on that album is like equivalent to Jisoo's All Eyes on Me. Check that out as well if you haven't. So good. One of my favorite idol tracks, honestly. Like, I wasn't expecting that from a random English album. Billy released Dang Hocus Pocus, which was also part of the same album with BYOB. I didn't like it as much as BYOB though, I will be honest. Queer, QWER, made their debut. They're not really K-pop, they're more like J-rock if anything, but they're still Korean and they promote in Korea and they sing in Korean, so I'm gonna fit in there. Discord was a really nice debut title track, and I thought that the song Secret Diary was also great as well. Sunmi released Stranger, which it was strange, but I liked it. I thought it was not bad at all. Not my favorite from her at all, but I thought it was great. Young Posse also made their debut with macaroni and cheese. I know a lot of people like it and it's grown on them, but for me, I still don't like it. I just think it's just not me. It's just as simple as that. It's just not me. And then my favorites from this month, which are, there's so many damn favorites. I released their first official mini album with Baddie, Off the Record, and I forgot the other one. I think it starts with E. Either way, my favorites were OTT, Payback, and Off the Record. I thought that Baddie got a little like addicting for a while, but then just as a song, when I listen to it, I don't like it. So yeah, it was those three that I loved. Chu released her first mini album with Howl. Now, I thought that Howl was a great title track, but I thought that the obvious winner for me was Aliens. The best song on that album, just such a heartwarming song. If we're thinking about her whole like discography, Heart Attack, Girls Talk, and Aliens are like my favorite tracks from her. I just think that those three are like absolute perfection. Hasul also released Plastic Candy. This was so heartwarming. This was such a great month. It was a Luna month. We also finally got to listen to Crystal Ballad, which is now called Blooming Moon, parentheses, Crystal Ballad. I can't wait to hear the audio of that officially because it just sounded so soft and emotional and deep. I loved it, and I cannot wait for the other ballads. Pixie did this digital release and they released a song called Truth or Dare. I'm like repeating myself, but literally one of the best songs of the year. So good, so underrated. Honestly, I want to gatekeep that song. Like, I don't want anyone to know about it. And then my top two favorites from this month, because I'm going in order of like least favorites to favorites. My top two favorites, Heejin with a K album. God damn it. Algorithm, Sad Girls Club, Nokia Addiction video game. There is too much to even say about that album. Easily my favorite soloist album of this year. Specifically Addiction and Video Game, those two are such Luna B-sides. They're such perfect, oh my god, I'm never not thinking about them. Algorithm is perfect. Oh my god, I just, like, honestly, if every member were to do their solo debut again, I think that Heejin just like, it just represented her so perfectly. There's not a thing I would change about that album, not a thing. Easily the best soloist album of this year for me. And then the other standout, which has been mentioned so much, as they should, Triple S's Evolution made their debut. They made their unit debut. Invincible. You might not have the streams, or you might not have the attention, or you might not have the love that you deserve, but I want you to know that since day one, since I heard the snippet of you in the Grand Gravity, I have been a part of you. You have been a part. We are linked. Easily one of the best title tracks in the world. I don't care. I love it so much. It's so out of this world. There is no song that sounds as like extremely intense but emotional but dreamy, but like I can't. Moto Princess, 37.5 Celsius, Heavy Metal Wings. My favorite 3 B-sides from that album. Perfect! I love We so much, and the intro as well. I don't know how people feel about this, but Enhanced Flower and Rodante were my least favorites, and probably, I don't know. Enhanced Flower was a lot better than Rodante to me, I'll say that, but Rodante, I like have something against it. I just don't like how incomplete it is. I will never stop saying that. November, guys, 2 months left. We're almost done. This video is dragging out longer than I thought, and I don't know how many of you will be here, but if you have been, you're a real one. Okay, so let's do this. November, Weekly finally made their comeback after a million years. I thought that Vroom Vroom was so disappointing. It was honestly one of the worst releases of this year. I can't believe that Weekly would release this. The rest of the album, however, Odyssey, Ruby Dooby Doo, and A+ were great B-sides, really, really great. But again, Vroom Vroom, so disappointing and so like, what? The rest of their songs compared to Vroom Vroom just make no sense. Not girl group related, but Enhypen released Sweet Venom, and in the album there were two B-sides that I really liked called Blind and Still Monster. Taeyeon released the 2X album. Honestly, it was kind of forgettable to me. I think that the only song was like the song called Melt Away that stood out to me, if I remember correctly. Jessica, on a similar note, Jessica released Beep Beep. Also kind of forgettable, but you know, like at this point I think she's just making songs for her fan base. Kepler released Grand Prix. Dreamcatcher released OOTD, and on OOTD there's a track called Shatter that I really loved. We Are Young is also a track that's pretty good on there, and Rising. Honestly, that was a pretty solid mini. Like, this was a really good year for Dreamcatcher. They're just consistently good with their releases. Maeve released What's My Name. I didn't really care for it that much. Baby Monster, Baemon, made their debut after 25,000 years of people waiting. Batter Up came out. I will say, I did not like it at first, and there are still times when I think the song is just so cheesy, but it's an addicting song. Like, at this point, at the time that I'm filming this, I think that it's actually a pretty fun song. It's a song you want to listen to. At least for me, I feel like I like listening to it. But it's not like anything like life-changing, you know? Like, it's a typical YG release, but I think it's a good one. And then the highlights from this month, because November was also a pretty amazing month. Zero Base One released a song, I think it was called Crush or Crushing or something like that. But they have two songs called Melting Point and Take My Hand from that album that I really enjoyed. I'm interested in seeing what they're gonna do. aespa released Drama. Oh my god, what a crazy title track. That plus Spicy being released this year is absolutely insane. I will say though, the rest of the album was a very big disappointment. Like, Drama was the only standout track. I did love Hot Air Balloon and I thought it was great, but I don't think I'm gonna find myself enjoying or listening to it as much until maybe it's like the spring or something. I don't know. It was just kind of disappointing. Soojin made her solo debut, and oh my god, was it a solo debut. Her and Heejin's were probably my favorite ones of this year. She released Agashi, and it was good, but it was everything else that was more important to me. Sunflower, Flowering, Tai Tai, Sunset. I cannot believe how good those songs are. I really cannot. Like, I love them. I love this album. I just think that it was a perfect debut. Honestly, this might be so controversial to say, but I'll say it. This album alone, I kind of like more than all of Idol's discography. Is that like crazy for me to say? I don't know. I just liked it so much. It was so me. It was so my style. Obviously, I can't love every single girl group, but after listening to this, I was like, oh my god. This sounds nothing like the rest of Idol. This sounds like her completely own new, brand new sound. The only thing is maybe Agashi that's super idol-y, which I loved. But the rest of the album was just something that I thoroughly was not expecting. I thought she would go down a more darker route or something. I was so surprised to see that the rest of the album was so like sentimental and happy and bright. Kiss of Life released Bad News, but it was Nobody Knows. That was the standout for me. And TTG. Oh my god. TTG. It's just blowing up now. Like, I think it reached people a little bit later because I've been going crazy with that song since day one. But that song is honestly on Sugarcoat level. Like, TTG, Sugarcoat, and Nobody Knows. And those are my 4 favorite Kiss of Life songs. Billy released The Soul Savior, I Don't Need Superman, which was a great track. So in line with their typical sound, which I absolutely adore. VV's huge breakthrough month for them. Breakthrough album, everything. Maniac, the Versus album, Overflow, Untie, Day by Day, Up to Me, perfect. Overflow is still the best B-side on that album and is one of the best songs. Maniac, keep rising, my queen, keep rising. I'm so happy for Maniac, honestly. And then last but not least, Red Velvet's 3rd full album after 6 years. Red Velvet's third full album, Chill Kill. Originally it was supposed to be called What a Chill Kill, but Chill Kill, oh my god. Let's talk real quick and then we have to wrap up December because that's a short one. I do want to say I was expecting this to be Red Velvet's best album, but it's not. I love this album. Do not get that wrong. Chill Kill, Underwater, Wings, Nightmare. At this time that I'm recording, those are my 4 favorite tracks from the album, but everything was still amazing. One Kiss. Actually, that was supposed to be one of my favorite ones. One Kiss, Iced Coffee, Knock Knock, Will I Ever See You Again, Bulldozer Scenery. So good. So good. But there's just B-sides on their other albums that just have blown me away. Like to bits, to smithereens. And I don't know. I was going through the Perfect Velvet album and I was like, honestly, this could be better than Chill Kill. Imagine if Underwater wasn't in that Chill Kill album. Like imagine that, because a lot of people, we love to talk about Underwater, but if Underwater was not in the Chill Kill album, people would have wanted way more from that. Like I said, love this album. I thought it was amazing, but I don't think it's their best, which is pretty sad because I thought it would be. I thought it would be, especially after releasing smash hit after smash hit after smash hit, not releasing a full album in so long and then finally releasing it. Perfect Velvet, I don't know. It's just one of a kind. It was just too representative. I also feel like if maybe they included more of the concept photos and the teaser photos and I don't know, something into Chill Kill, it would have made it more memorable. I think that Chill Kill is easily an amazing title track and one of the best ones of this year, but it's not one of Red Velvet's best title tracks to me, I think. And then finally, guys, December. This is gonna be a quick one. Let's just wrap it up. December was a pretty dry month. I mean, everyone just released everything throughout the rest of the year, but A-Pink released Pink Christmas, great Christmas song. Stacey released their Japanese single Lit. Honestly, pretty fun. Pretty fun. I really like it. It's not anything crazy or like life-changing, but it's fun. Twice released Dance Again, their winter Japanese song, and it was a really good one. I thought it was really good actually. I like that it was poppy and not ballady. True released A Beautiful Farewell, her OST. And then the standouts from this month, Yukika, her last release and her last album, she released it. The standouts from that album for me were the intro, How to Love. It was just so good. Also Remember Summer Days, especially with that intro. Wow. Classy released Winter Blooms, another winter song. So good. Please check that out if you haven't, especially while it's still winter. XG, not K-pop. I know that I mentioned XG earlier, by the way, but I'm still including them just because they do promote with the K-pop industry, within the K-pop industry. They released Winter Without You. Great, amazing, warm, R&B, winter, snowy track. Loved it. It was so sentimental. The music video was great. Universe Ticket, Rush Hour, and Ticket to You. Those are 2 tracks from there that I really liked, that I listened to. And Mix's Soñar, that came out at the start of the month. I thought that was a really great track for them. I cannot wait to see what their album is going to be like at the start of January. Last but not least, the best thing that happened in December of this year, and honestly one of the best things of this year, Triple S released their 4 new members, part of the next unit, we can call it, Triple S Next. They released the song Just Do It. Please check it out. Please check it out, especially for you guys who are both waves and orbits, clues, culties, oris, whatever, Luna lovers basically. Go check it out. I see so many people have been mentioning it to Girls Talk by Eve and True, and yeah, just so good, so perfect. I really don't know what to say. Well, that was everything, guys. Honestly, this video is a lot longer than I thought it would be. I'm definitely going to have to put the timestamps everywhere because I don't know who's gonna sit through an almost 1 hour long video, but I wanted to go through everything. I really did. I was very nervous about making this video because it was a lot of preparation, and it was also such a really huge year. I would say that my favorite months after going through everything, because I didn't even do that, I'm gonna say that my favorite months were definitely, honestly, it's actually really hard. Every single month had at least one release that was like completely like mind-blowing, so it's hard to choose a favorite month. I will say that my favorite season was probably the summer season, just because June, July, August was just like non-stop perfection. The beginning of the year was also so amazing. I mean, New Jeans, Triple S, XG, Billy, uh VVs, there was just so much goodness. And then the end of this year was just absolute perfection, wrapping up all of the Triple S and Luna activities. Like, this was honestly Luna and Triple S's year for me. Like, with all the returns, with all the new units, with all the news from them, with just the constant like just overflow of content and information and music and news. It's just been such a good year for them. It's just been a perfect year for them. All the top girl groups like aespa, Le Sserafim, IVE, them, they're still growing, they're still doing their own thing. Do I think that they're making the best music as of right now? No, but I think that they're having really good consistent releases. Yeah, this video is so long, I'm gonna wrap this up right now. I think that this year was honestly one of the best years for K-pop, and I specifically am saying that not just because of all of the Luna news, specifically as someone who's an Orbit, Clue, Uri, all that stuff. It's mostly just the fact that like all of the releases this year have been on par, if not better, than other releases from groups, like from all of them. I just feel like this was a very big year for everyone. Like, all of my faves are still doing amazing and they're just doing better. All of my new group faves are still doing good and they're just rising. It's just been a very good year, and I cannot wait to see what 2024 is gonna have. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I have so much to edit now. I hope that you all enjoyed this. I want to know what were your favorites from this year. Of course, that goes without saying. The whole point of this video is me saying my favorites, and then I want you guys to give your opinions and your favorites, all of that. Let me know, what was this year for you? What did you think of all the tracks? Just what you think. Hope you guys have a great rest of your year. Thank you so much for the people who have been with me since the start and who have joined me this year. I cannot wait for the new year and for all of the new things that are going to happen, that are going to be released, and all that stuff. See you guys in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.